So we're back for another year here with Joe Kingman at Florida State, the #1 quarterback in the country. After a tremendous sophomore year, we are back trying to go get this Heisman Awards. We're 4th in the preseason rankings there. We're number 18 in the nation as a team. This offense is high-powered as we get ready to open up the new year against Texas State. Now on a 1st and 10 read option, we pick up right where we left off. A 10-yard touchdown for Kingman on the ground gives us the early lead. 14 all now though. Second quarter, putting a little bit of pressure on us as Texas State in this home opener, but Kingman on a 2nd and 1 will spin through the defense, pick up 22, and then on a 3rd and 11, he would find Malik McLean for the touchdown. So before the half, a 28-21 lead as Douglas lays out, makes an amazing grab, and we'd head to the 4th with a tremendous lead. And on a 3rd and 7, Kingman picks up all we needed to secure the win here. A big win to open up the season, now moving up to 15th in the nation, taking on Western Kentucky. And we are on the road here, trailing early 7-0, but Johnny Wilson with the connection. And then right here, a slant up the middle to give us our first score, trailing now by a touchdown. Kingman hitting deep, throws a little short, but Malik McLean comes away with this play and makes us now another touchdown. But Western Kentucky, they were tough. They would turn us over on downs, and they would keep the lead now 21-14. 4th quarter, we are trying to overcome the odds here as Kingman picks up 5 there on the triple option. And now on a 3rd and 12, really last chance, we hit Deuce Spain to tie this one up. And we would get the ball back as our defense helps us out. And up the seam, there is McLean. He's had a huge game as he gets a 65-yard game winner as we secure a win, moving to 2-0, taking on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, trailing 7-0. On the triple option, we pitch out to Ward as we secure 19 yards for our halfback. And on a 2nd and goal, we hit our tight end, West, for the touchdown. But Notre Dame would not go away. They would actually secure a 21-7 lead. So we'd scramble out here, pick up 10, and our halfback Ward would put it in the end zone. But again, Notre Dame bounces back, keeps it a 14-point deficit for us to overcome. And on a 3rd and 4 here with a minute 30 left in the 3rd, we find Deuce Spain for the touchdown now. But again, Notre Dame just too much. Every time we would score, they would bounce right back and get it back to a 14-point game. But here with 3 minutes left, we find Malik McLean for the touchdown. But Notre Dame, just too much to overcome here, and they secured the win and upset us on our home field as we now look into the ACC. We are 2-1, getting ready for the opener against Virginia. On the road for the ACC opener, a 3rd and 8, and there is West with the touchdown to give us the early lead. As we jump forward now to the 2nd quarter, we're on top 17-0. As Joe Kingman, we're playing really, really well. We're striking and hitting all our targets as we need to. And right here, a missed throw. Unfortunately, on a 4th down, we'd have to settle for a field goal, and that leads us to this 20-7 lead where Kingman, a big run there on the option, takes off up the middle as we lead 27-14, and we'll add on to it as we hit our target, Johnny Wilson. It's a big win in the ACC opener. Kingman continuing to play really solid football as now we get ready for our home opener in the ACC, taking on the 0-4 Terps of Maryland. And Kingman here rolling out, trying to go over the defense. He fumbles it into the end zone where Trader Jr. will kneel it out. That was the 2nd takeaway already of this game. So we'd head to the 2nd quarter in a scoreless game where we find Johnny Wilson for a nice grab there. And on a 1st and 10, we get on the scoreboard early, 14 yards on the curl. So it's a 7-0 lead. 2nd quarter, 1st and goal. And there's Johnny Wilson again picking up the block. He'd head into the end zone. A 14-0 game. And just before the half, there's another beautiful dime to the outside for Wilson. It's 21-3 as we pick up in the 4th quarter. The defense really helping us out here as we're able to stretch our legs and get all the blocks we need. We make it into the end zone, a 39-yard touchdown as we prevail here in our home opener in the ACC, and we're 4-1, 2-0 in the conference, getting ready to take on the 5-1 Boston College Eagles here. A big one as we're trailing on the road in the rain, 7-0, and over the middle there is our trusty target, Johnny Wilson, for a big gain. And on a 3rd and 1, we read, we pull, and we get a touchdown to tie it up, but BC would put up 3 with a field goal, and now the defense, the pressure coming. We'd head to the 4th quarter trailing 10-7. A defensive battle here as we connect with McLean there on the conversion on 3rd down, and now here on a 2nd and 6, trying to take our time, and there is Jackson West to give us the lead. But Shortly after that, the defense gets the stop, triple option, sets up a 2nd and goal where we pull on the option and we'll make it a multi-possession lead. But Boston College would climb all the way back and take a lead 24-21. So our last effort, a wide open Wilson trying to stretch and get down for the end zone, but he falls short. And Boston College pulls off the big win, as now we're 2-1 in the Atlantic Division. So we would really need to run the table if we wanted a chance to win the conference, as we take on number 8 Clemson in a tough road environment, trailing early on in this one 14-3. But our first touchdown on the board, Johnny Wilson for 45 yards. But now 21-10, West gets us down inside the 5, and on a 3rd and goal here on the option, we pull right up the middle for the touchdown to make it a 1-score game here in the second half. 2nd and 10, there's Johnny Wilson again at midfield for a 20-yard gain, and on 3rd and goal, we power into the end zone to give us our first lead of this game heading into the 4th quarter. It'll be a 3rd and 10. Kingman would go down on this hit, so unfortunately we would miss the rest of this game, but we'd hang on for the big win against number 8 Clemson, and now get ready for a top 10 matchup against the Hurricanes of Miami. As we trailed early, it was a 7-0 deficit until we power this one into the end zone to make it a 7-all game. But Miami would bounce back with a field goal to give them the lead here in the first, and Wilson there with 16 yards gives us the big conversion, and we hit board there for a touchdown to make us now lead 14-13 as we find a big target there. And on a 3rd and 3, Kingman again, read option, pull in the red zone. It is money as we lead to the 4th quarter. It's now 21-19. McLean again with a key reception out of bounds, 22 yards. And on a 1st and 10, this pass is deflected and intercepted by Porter. A tide-turning game here that would give Miami the lead. So with 30 seconds left, we hit Portier for a huge play that gets us down at the 21-yard line. And then the very next play, 1st and 10, we find a wide open McLean back of the end zone to give us the late lead. So our defense, as we watch from the sideline, needs to step up as Van Dyke, feeling the pressure, arms it deep, and it is incomplete. Somehow we pull out with the big win here, as we're now 4-1 in conference, getting ready to take on one of the best teams in the country, as we are 5th in the Maxwell, taking on NC State, the number 1 team in the country. And we pick this one up with a huge scramble for Kingman as he gets 23, and we were trailing by a touchdown 14-7. But Portier right here puts us down inside the 5. We would cap off a touchdown drive, and NC State would require and get a field goal back, so it's a 17-14 game. So 1st and 10 here, right before the half. Over the middle, there's our trusty tight end, West. He gets a 1st down and 15 added on for the penalty, and Kingman walks it in to give us our first lead of this game. But we pick up in the second half, trailing now 24-21, but Kingman showing you the legs. He's pulling off a huge gainer now, all the way down into the red zone, where we would face a 3rd and 17. The pressure too much, we'd have to settle for 3. So late in the 3rd, on the pitch to Tofili, a beautiful pitch on the triple option was set up this play on 1st and goal, where we would tie the game up heading into the 4th quarter. It is 31 all. And on this play, back to our left, we hit our tight end West, who takes it down to the 1. We would prevail with a touchdown there with our halfback, and with a lead with 2 minutes left, Wilson playing strong ball out here, gets 24 yards. We would run out the clock, and we would take down the number 1 team in the nation. And now we are in the Heisman picture. There you see Joe Kingman looking to win it all, as we are the top team in the Atlantic, getting ready to go on the road to take on Wake Forest, who had big plans for an upset, as we're number 15 in the nation, trailing though 14-0 here early on in the 2nd quarter. But a face mask here was set up a touchdown drive, so trailing now by just a single score. Kingman evading the pocket pressure, and with a beautiful juke there, gets down with 12 seconds left in half. We'd settle for a field goal. So second half, there's the triple option pitch to Toafili. He gets in the end zone and gives us our first lead. So 17 unanswered, led by our quarterback Kingman, with set up with a huge play here. Look at the juke. We get 22 on the 3rd down conversion, and on a 3rd and 7, breaking through the pocket, a big pickup here, but a face mask with a minute left would be the tide shifter, as Gooden with a face mask. We'd be able to run that clock out. We'd survive on the road, as we're now number 9 in the country at 8-2, getting ready to take on number 6 Syracuse. The Orange are for real, and we'd have to have a huge home win as Johnny Wilson connects there, and on a 3rd and goal, there he is on the slant, 9 yards out to give us the lead, but Syracuse would tie it up. But Douglas on this play, he would not be denied. He breaks the tackle, and it would be a foot race, and he would prevail with a touchdown, 76 yards on the curl. So now before the half, 14 all. We hit Ward outside. He gets out of bounds 24 yards. Very next play here, it is a pick, and Barron would not be touched. A mishap on my end on the pass. The coaching staff cannot believe what we just did. We go into the half trailing by a touchdown, and now in a 3rd and goal back of the end zone, we make up for it. We tie the game up, but Syracuse gets back that lead heading into the 4th quarter, and we would need a huge touchdown drive to tie this one up as we get it there to Ja'Kai Douglas, 28 all. 3 minutes left. We find Jackson West for 23 yards, and on our 1st and 10, very next play, we hit our halfback Toafili for 19 yards, and then 3rd and goal, we pull in the read option and give us the lead here. 2 minutes left in this ball game. Our defense does their job. We prevail with the win and move up 2 spots to now number 3 in the Heisman race. You see the numbers. We are all over the place. We are a dominant team. We are a top 10 team getting ready for our season finale against the Florida Gators. We're in the swamp and we are trailing 7-0. 2nd quarter. We need to get this offense going, and we get it here to Douglas, who picks up a block and fights into the end zone, 22 yards. 14-7 now. We trail. 3rd quarter, Kingman on the pitch on the triple option finds Ward as he gets across midfield for 21 yards. And on a 2nd and 4, a big misfire. We throw a terrible ball as it's picked off by Helm. The 2nd takeaway of the game, but we would try to make up for it. We're trailing by 14. Portier with a huge play on 4th and 4. And then 4th and goal, we convert a touchdown to Jackson West to make it a 1-score game. And then Ward would tie it up here with 3 minutes left, 21 all. But Florida would get another touchdown led by their star quarterback, so we would need to get a late touchdown. It's 1 minute left, 3rd and 4. We're looking over the middle, and we find Jackson West for 11 yards, but Florida would march down with too much time. They kick a game-winning field goal, and they would survive as Richardson did his job, as we're now number 2 in the Heisman, getting ready for the ACC Championship here, ladies and gentlemen, against the Duke Blue Devils. Both teams are 9-3 as we come in at number 13 in the country. Look at the juke moves. We would not be denied for the 32-yard gain. And then 3rd and 5, a deep ball laid out, and Douglas finds pay dirt with a touchdown. So we would be leading this one 14-0, and it was all Seminoles here in this ACC Championship game. Our first chance at an ACC title, and we would make it the biggest game of our career with a huge touchdown there. We're now leading 21-7 here, and then Douglas with a beautiful play there would make it now a 28-7 game. So picking up in the 3rd quarter, we are all over Duke. It is just a dominant game. We're leading 42-7, make it now 49-7. It's an all Seminole ACC title game as Kingman finally gets that big performance. 7 total touchdowns with over 400 total yards of offense, and we are on top of the ACC, and we win our first ever Heisman, and it was not even close. We dominate the voting. Unfortunately, we would not make it to the college football playoff this year, but we're ready for a New Year's Six Bowl as we get ready to take on number 11 Louisville in the Capital One Orange Bowl, and we pick up right where we left off as we get our first score of the game, picking up in the 2nd quarter now. It's 21-14 as we find Wilson for a huge gainer. He'd get down the sideline, and before the half, trying to tie this game up, we'd go on the triple option untouched into the end zone. So it's a 21-all game. 10 seconds left in the half. The defense gets us a turnover, and we capitalize to Kentron Poitier for a touchdown. We'd head to the 4th quarter, leading Louisville 31-28, where we convert to Douglas for a huge gain. And then on the triple option, 2 minutes left in this game, Kingman, look at the breaking tackles, juking out the defense. He will not go down, and we'd run out the clock, secure the win, and we'd have 4 total touchdowns, and we would take home the Orange Bowl here in this New Year's Six Bowl game. So far, so good for the career for Kingman as Penn State is your national champion. The stats are absolutely tremendous for Kingman. You see the stats there below, but the question is, coming back for his senior season, can Kingman take Florida State to the national championship?